In 1943, an American soldier pushed through France days after D-Day. Miles from base, he found a stream, filled his steel canteen, dropped an iodine tablet in, waited 30 minutes, drank, clear, cold, safe. He used that canteen through 11 months of combat. He never got sick from the water, he never replaced it. Today, you turn on your tap. Clean water, government approved. Within an hour, a headache, fatigue, or you buy bottled water thinking it is safer. That plastic bottle sat in a hot warehouse for weeks. It leached chemicals before you opened it. 1 generation purified water in steel. You drink from contaminated pipes and plastic. Have you ever felt sick after drinking water? That unexplained headache? What you are about to learn explains why your tap water is a chemical cocktail. So let's start with what is in your water. Turn on your tap, it looks clean, clear. But here's what's inside. Microplastics come from plastic pipes, and they are too small for treatment plants to filter. Every glass can contain plastic particles. Pharmaceutical residue includes birth control hormones, antidepressants, and antibiotics. People pee them out. Treatment cannot remove dissolved hormones, so they flow back into your supply. PFAS are forever chemicals from industrial use. They never break down. They are already in your water, and they accumulate in your body. Chlorine is added to kill bacteria, but it also damages your gut microbiome. Lead and copper come from old corroding pipes. Fluoride added by municipalities accumulates in bones and the brain. Studies found microplastics in 83% of tap water worldwide. Bottled water can be worse because the bottle sheds microplastics directly into the water. Heat accelerates that process in hot trucks, warehouses, and cars. 14 contaminants in water. Compare that to World War II. Soldiers could not trust local water in combat. Streams might have dead animals upstream. Wells might be contaminated. They needed portable purification. The solution was iodine tablets and steel canteens. Every soldier carried a steel canteen, the M1910 model. Stainless steel, 1 quart, 1 ounce in weight. It lasted the entire war and it never corroded. It came with halazone tablets. Each tablet purified 1 quart and it killed bacteria, parasites and viruses within 30 minutes. Find fresh water, fill the canteen, drop a tablet, wait 30 minutes, drink. It was simple and portable, no electricity required, no treatment plant, just iodine and steel. They drank from French streams, Italian wells and Pacific springs. No bottled water and no filtration systems, just iodine and 30 minutes. Waterborne disease was minimal. Dysentery and typhoid had killed soldiers in every previous war. In World War II, these diseases were rare. Iodine purification worked. Iodine killed everything dangerous. Bacteria, parasites, viruses. Steel canteens added nothing. They were inert. They did not leach. They did not shed particles. They simply held water. Soldiers controlled their own purification. They did not trust systems. They did it themselves. Water tasted slightly metallic, with a faint iodine note if you drank it too soon, but it was clean, cold, and safe. Soldiers used the same canteen for months, even years. Many brought them home and used them for camping for decades. It worked. Soldiers drank from questionable sources and stayed healthy. Desert heat in Africa, jungle humidity in the Pacific, freezing winter in Belgium. There were no outbreaks. Canteens lasted for decades. Your tap water can be contaminated before it reaches you. Pharmaceuticals are in source water. Someone upstream might have excreted antidepressants into the river your city draws from. Microplastics are in pipes. Treatment plants add chlorine and remove some bacteria, but they cannot remove pharmaceuticals, microplastics, or PFAS. Old pipes add lead. The result is a chemical mixture. People reach for bottled water, but plastic bottles shed more microplastics. You pay $3 for contamination. Bottles stored in a warehouse at 90 degrees leach faster. That means more plastic particles and hormone disruptors. Here is where it gets disturbing. Soldiers faced bacteria which were killable. Iodine handled them. You face chemicals that did not exist back then. They were created after the war and they do not break down. they accumulate in the body. Microplastics can cross the blood-brain barrier and end up in the brain. PFAS accumulate in organs and persist. Pharmaceutical hormones affect the endocrine system. Every glass adds more. So what happened? How did we go from purifying natural water to drinking chemical cocktails? It was 1945 and the war was over. Soldiers came home with steel canteens. Municipal systems were simple, chlorination was standard, and metal pipes delivered water from clean sources. There was no pharmaceutical industry at scale and no plastic infrastructure. Treatment was simple for simple contamination. The 1950s brought expansion. Infrastructure grew rapidly with more chlorination and more chemicals, but sources stayed clean. Pharmaceuticals were not widespread. Plastic was still new, and steel and copper pipes were the standard. Then the 1960s brought the plastic revolution, seen as a miracle material, cheap and durable. Cities replaced metal pipes with plastic to save money, but nobody tested what plastic does to water or whether it sheds particles. Miles of plastic pipe were installed, shedding microplastics into every glass, and nobody knew. And it got worse. The 1970s brought a pharmaceutical explosion. Birth control became widespread. Millions took synthetic hormones daily. Antidepressants became common, and antibiotics were overprescribed. Our bodies processed these drugs and excreted them. Sewage treatment was designed for solid waste, not dissolved pharmaceuticals. Hormones passed through, back into rivers, and into drinking water supplies. Nobody tested for it. But it did not stop there. The 1980s brought the bottled water industry. Evian, Perrier, plastic bottles everywhere, marketed as pure, safer than tap. The industry exploded with billions in profits. People paid $3 for water in plastic, but bottles leached chemicals, heat made it worse, trucks left bottles baking in the sun, warehouses stored them hot. You paid for contamination. The industry knew and sold it anyway. The 1990s revealed PFAS everywhere, the so-called forever chemicals. Decades of industrial use caught up in non-stick pans, in firefighting foam, and in waterproof clothing. PFAS seeped into groundwater. By the 90s, wells, rivers, and aquifers were contaminated, and PFAS never breaks down. It accumulates in your body with every glass. The 2000s brought awareness. Early studies found pharmaceuticals in tap water, birth control hormones, antidepressants, antibiotics. Trace amounts at first, but daily glasses add up, years of exposure with unknown long-term effects. Pharmaceuticals were getting into the water supply. The 2010s discovered microplastics everywhere, in tap water, in bottled water, in rain, then in human blood, in placentas, in brain tissue. Microplastics can cross the blood-brain barrier. Your body cannot break them down. They accumulate in organs in the brain. Studies are only just starting, and damage might already be done. The timeline matches exactly. 1940s, steel canteens and iodine, clean sources, soldiers who could control their water quality. 2020s, plastic pipes, pharmaceutical residue, PFAS, microplastics in blood. You trust a system that is poisoning you, but when people got sick, they blamed you. Drink more water, they said, the same contaminated water. Buy premium bottles, more plastic, more contamination. Our water meets Environmental Protection Agency standards, standards that were written before these contaminants existed. Contamination was presented as a non-issue. Their solution was simple and wrong. Drink more, buy plastic, trust treatment that cannot remove these chemicals. They sold you the problem as the solution. They did not tell you that treatment cannot remove microplastics. Filters are not designed for particles that small. They did not tell you that pharmaceutical residue passes through unchanged. They did not tell you that plastic bottles shed more particles. They did not tell you that steel was better. Soldiers had it right. You are not paranoid. The water is contaminated. Your body is reacting normally to abnormal chemicals. Microplastics are not food. PFAS does not belong in organs. Pharmaceutical hormones do not belong in drinking water. Your headaches are not random. Your fatigue is not laziness. Your body is processing chemicals it was not designed for. So what do you do about it? First, steel or glass only. Use stainless steel bottles like soldiers did. Keep glass for home. Never use plastic and never leave bottles in hot cars. Heat accelerates leaching. Steel or glass, that's it. Second, invest in home filtration that works. Use reverse osmosis. It removes microplastics, pharmaceutical residue, and PFAS. Carbon filters help, but they do not remove everything. Reverse osmosis is more expensive, costing a few $100s, but it is the only technology that removes what municipal plants cannot. You need your own filtration. 3. Take control like soldiers. Do not trust municipal treatment alone. Old technology cannot handle new contaminants. Filter at home and use steel containers. You are responsible, not the government, not bottled water companies, you. Soldiers did not trust anyone else, and neither should you. The point is not to romanticize streams. The point is, soldiers purified natural water and stored it in steel. You drink from plastic pipes full of pharmaceuticals, and you store water in more plastic. Their water had bacteria that could be killed. Your water has chemicals accumulating in the brain forever. Every time you choose steel and filtration, you vote against a system that contaminated your water and sold you more contamination as the solution. Subscribe. We are digging up what World War II soldiers knew about survival and health. Knowledge that worked under the worst conditions and that still works today.